Kemi had always known she was different. While her classmates pursued conventional dreams of becoming doctors, engineers, or lawyers, she spent her days sketching the world around her. In Lagos, a city teeming with life and color, her artwork was their only escape. Yet, her parents, especially her mother, insisted that she focus on practical studies to secure a real future. They wanted her to become a lawyer, but Kemi's heart yearned for something more, the vibrant, messy world of art. As she prepared for her final year of university, Kemi was torn between following her passion and adhering to her family's expectations. One rainy evening, Kemi's life changed. She attended an art exhibition at a gallery in Victoria Island, where she crossed paths with Tunde, son of a wealthy and influential businessman. Tunde's family was known for their immense wealth and business acumen, but he felt trapped under the heavy expectations of his father. Tunde's world was one of luxury, but his heart was a world apart. Kemi, with her wild curls and simple attire, stood in stark contrast to the polished crowd at the gallery. They exchanged glances, their conversation starting awkwardly, but soon blooming into something deeper. Kemi learned that Tunde longed for something more than his father's empire, something he wasn't sure he could have. In the weeks that followed, Kemi and Tunde found themselves drawn to one another, meeting at cafes and quiet corners of the city. Kemi shared her passion for painting, showing Tunde the unfinished pieces that spoke of her inner struggles and dreams. She told him about a desire to study art abroad, but how her parents couldn't understand. Tunde, in turn, spoke of his own frustrations with his father's plan for his life. He wanted to forge his own path, but feared the consequences of defying his family. Kemi saw something in Tunde's eyes, an unspoken understanding of what it meant to sacrifice one's dreams. Tunde's family, particularly his father, had plans for him. They expected him to follow in his father's footsteps, joining the family business and eventually taking over the empire. Tunde, however, was not interested in the high-powered world of finance. He had dreams of opening his own non-profit organization, working with young entrepreneurs, and using his privilege to help others. But every time he tried to share these dreams, his father dismissed them as naive and impractical. Meanwhile, Kemi faced a similar battle at home. Her mother's eyes would glisten with pride when she spoke of her daughter becoming a lawyer, but there was little room for art in their conversation. Despite the love they had for their daughter, their dreams for her didn't align with her own. Kemi and Tunde grew closer as their mutual frustrations deepened. One evening, at a party Tunde's family hosted, Kemi was introduced to the world of wealth and power. She was uncomfortable in her designer dress, surrounded by people who seemed to live entirely different lives from her. She overheard Tunde's father discussing the future of the family business, and she realized just how much pressure he was under to conform. Tunde, however, seemed to be at ease, playing the part of the dutiful son. But when they were alone later that night, he confided in her how he had begun to resent his family's control over his future. Kemi, in turn, confessed her own fears about disappointing her parents if she pursued her art. As their relationship deepened, Kemi began to paint again, but with a new sense of urgency. She painted Tunde's face in a way that captured not just his physical likeness, but the deep ache in his eyes, the tension between his own desires and his family's expectations. Tunde watched her paint, mesmerized by the way her hands moved across the canvas, creating something so raw and beautiful. One evening, as Kemi put the final touches on the portrait, Tunde promised her that he would support her dream of studying art abroad, even if it meant standing up to his father. For the first time, he felt the courage to break free from his family's expectations. In return, Kemi promised him that she would help him find his own path, no matter the cost. Tunde began to take small steps toward his own future, beginning with a conversation with his father. It didn't go well. His father was furious, insisting that Tunde was throwing away a legacy for something that was unrealistic. But Tunde stood firm. Meanwhile, Kemi's parents were less understanding of her desire to pursue art. Her mother insisted that painting was just a hobby and that she should focus on her law degree. But Kemi had made up her mind. The more she painted, the clearer it became that this was her true calling. She applied to art schools abroad without her parents' knowledge and received an acceptance letter from a prestigious institution in Paris. Tunde decided to take a bold step. He started his own nonprofit organization aimed at helping young Nigerian entrepreneurs get funding and mentorship. It was a risky move, but one he knew was worth it. As for Kemi, she made the hardest decision of her life. She sat down with her parents and told them about her acceptance to art school in Paris. The conversation was tense. Her mother wept, worried about her future, while her father struggled to hide his disappointment. But in the end, they both saw the conviction in her eyes and knew they couldn't stop her from pursuing her dreams. Kemi and Tunde both stood on the precipice of new lives. Tunde's family eventually came to accept his decision to leave the family business behind, though it was clear it would take time for their relationship to heal. Kemi, on the other hand, left for Paris, her heart heavy with the knowledge that she was disappointing her parents, but lightened by the freedom she felt to finally follow her own path. Their love for each other remained, though the distance between them grew. They continued to support each other from afar, with Tunde sending her occasional messages of encouragement and Kemi sending him paintings of the places she was discovering. Years passed, and both Kemi and Tunde found success on their own terms. Kemi became a renowned artist, her work celebrated internationally for its raw emotion and vibrant colors. Tunde's non-profit organization flourished, empowering countless young entrepreneurs across Nigeria. They reunited in Lagos one day, both changed, both confident in the paths they had carved for themselves. Kemi's heart, once painted with the colors of doubt and fear, had been transformed into a masterpiece of courage and self-trust. And Tunde's heart, once bound by the chains of expectation, was now free. Their love, like Kemi's art, had flourished, its strength rooted in the freedom to follow their hearts.